Aloha. With this video, I wanted to share my perspective on the third eye and the artificial third eye that is being projected into our reality right now with all of this artificial intelligence, transhumanism, CERN talk, and this extraterrestrial alien information. I just wanted to, like, disclosure, I wanted to break down like what all this stuff is, because I had actually gone through that mindset for a while. And it's kind of like when you put it kind of like has a thing like when you put words to something, you take something away, because the language, like, you can't explain love in a word. So by putting it in a word, you're actually taking something away. I mean, this goes for language in general, but excuse me, in reference to the idea of the third eye, just those words kind of take it away, because it's not an eye. It's more like that's just one small fraction of what it is. When you think eye, you think, oh yeah, well, you're seeing something, and when you limit it to that language, it kind of takes it away. But to stay on course now, most people know what I'm talking about with that whole language thing. The third eye, when I thought my third eye was opening and all that other stuff, I was probably like 5 years ago. And I was really like on that kick, and it was just like, man, this is a real thing. But what was really happening was that something was changing in me, to where I was feeling more of my reality. I was feeling more of myself. I was experiencing more of my surroundings. I could really just tap in to a deeper layer of interpreting what was going on in this reality. And it wasn't something that was happening to me in a moment, kind of like psychedelics, anymore. It was more of a part of who I now was at that time. And the same way that you can't really explain love with the definition of the word love, you can't really explain your third eye opening with the definition of the third eye opening. I mean, it's just it's a game that you're playing with yourself, pretty much, because this is how we can see ourselves. We see ourselves with language. We see ourselves with our surroundings. We see ourselves with the way we interpret our reality. This is why it's so important to break down and disassemble the systems that have been installed into our community, installed into our consciousness by this parasitic consciousness that can only survive based upon the host consciousness of the people. So dumbing down your consciousness is, in a sense, closing your third eye, to keep it as basic math as possible. The mainstream media, the university system, the public education system, the so-called democratic and capitalistic system, the colonial system, the maritime admiralty system, the prison industrial complex, the fear programming, the military industrial complex, the lower vibes of this mentally adolescent adult society, everything within that culture, everything within that alchemy is designed to, in a sense, close your third eye. So if you can see that, excuse me, you can see what that does is, when you see something from the perspective of, like, when you see the third eye from the perspective of it being closed, it actually gives you more of a definition of what it means to have in a so-called open third eye. So actually, because you're not confining it, you're not forming it to fit some kind of definition of what it actually is, which is why it's so important to leave these definitions open, to leave the process open, because the third eye opening is not a thing that happens. It's a part of you that continually grows. So when you put a name on it, largely that's just to kind of capitalize on something that's different than the norm. And in this case, the norm is the closing of the third eye. So when you're saying that your third eye is opening, you're actually taking pride just by that statement. You're taking pride in something that's as natural as breathing. You're taking pride in something that's as natural as your heart beating. And when you take pride in something like that, it's just like putting words to something that needs no words. You take something away and you're confining it. So when I say that your third eye opening is as natural as breathing and your heart beating, that's to say that the system that's in place that keeps your third eye closed is unnatural. It's the most unnatural system that's out there. This is why all of the oceans are destroyed. This is why, or the ocean, there's only one ocean. This is why the ocean is being poisoned. This is why your air is being poisoned. When you see all of this, like when you know that you have solar energy, you have electrical energy, you have everything that's other than this so-called fossil fuel stuff that produces this carbon effect in the air. When you understand that the system is knowing what it's doing, then you have to understand the intent within that knowingness. Is the intent only to make money, or is their intent power through destruction, through fear, through creating more systems that contract your consciousness? So when you understand that, and you understand that this system has zero concern with your well-being, has zero concern with the balances of nature and the universal laws of our experience, it has zero concern with that. You can just look around. Look at this trending page. You can see this is not designed to, and I'm just using this as an example. This is not to put an expectation on YouTube, obviously, because this is known what Google, YouTube is for. Just like the public education system is known to be what it is. It's not there for, okay, so saying YouTube is here for your entertainment or social media is here for your networking and entertainment is like saying that the public education system is there for your intelligence. The public education system is there to provide you with something that's going to expand your intelligence. It's not there for that. It's there for conformity. It's there to shrink you down. So if you can understand your entire experience as a third eye, because the only reason why, or the main reason why the so-called third eye is such a big deal is because most people can't even see reality with their own two eyes. So you have people walking around talking about a third eye. Holy shit. I mean, something's really, you need to be paying attention to this. But this is the thing. This is the whole backwards and upside down and reversed programming that this system has people going. When you have the New Agers talking about the third eye and your Pleiadian and Andromedan brethren, and your channelers talking about this is me 700 years from now, and you have all of these different gurus and spiritual teachers telling you this and this and this. Meanwhile, the entire system that is maintaining the closing of your so-called third eye, the closing of your consciousness, is still expanding itself. It's expanding itself based upon the unaccountability through people focusing on one thing to not focus on something else. So it's the escape mechanism reality. A lot of people don't know what to do with the powerhouse that is the mainstream media, with the powerhouse that is the system of haves and have-nots as a whole. They don't know. So the best that they can do is stay positive. That's what the new age is based upon. That's what that whole love and light thing is. It's just stay positive. Stay positive. But that's the thing. It's not about only positive. This reality has a very definite balance with positive and negative, and the alchemy that has been used to contract consciousness, to keep all eyes closed, is based upon utilizing the negative alchemy in a way that kind of like black magic does. Black magic uses another kind of intent there. When you can understand that compassion, empathy, connection, there's a difference between compassion and empathy and love and light. There's more essence there. There's more to the definition of empathy. There's more to the definition of compassion than there is to the definitions of love and light. And you hear these words spatted all the time by the so-called powers that be. Oh, love and light, this whole thing. But you have to understand that these are commercials that are being played for you, no different than the trending page is being played for the majority of people to consume their reality and in the long run contract their consciousness. So I wanted to share this and make a short video real quick just to expand upon the idea of like my experience of the third eye and how I perceive it, and how I've been perceiving it over the last like 5 years, and how it's going to be used as part of the next agenda to sell in the idea of simulation theory, sell in the idea of expansion, and sell in the idea of something more. So you have all these new age people who still believe in the system. So they might have all of this third eye stuff that's out there, and they're keeping up with the whole like the cabal, the Illuminati, and all this information coming out. That is a confirmation that any information that they are receiving from the ethers, whatever it is, it still needs to be confirmed by the system itself. That's a difference between, that was the thing for me in reference to the new age. One of the other things for me in reference to the new age community is that it, as much as it was saying that it was expanding and it was becoming, you know, your third eye is opening and you're loving and connecting with people and this whole thing, it's untrue. It was just blatantly untrue, because the world that I came from in this plane of existence, growing up in Oakland, California, the people there still have things that are going on in reference, in direct reflection of what has happened in our recent past and in our not so recent past. Those effects are still, that magic, that alchemy is still affecting people today. And if you want to say that you're connecting and you're aware and all this other stuff, and you're telling yourself that just because you connect with the Pleiadians and the Andromedans that your third eye is opening, or you're connecting with some kind of, you can, whatever it is that you're telling yourself, and you're telling yourself at the same time, like, this is a connection, I've never felt so aware and all this other stuff. But there's a big ass box out there that says, don't look at this unless you want to challenge your current comfort level of awareness. And that box is the juggernaut that is the system, that is this mainstream reality. So this is the idea of the system itself, is to get people up to a certain level of vibration, but not so much to where they can go beyond the level of constraint, beyond the level of manipulation. They stay in a little bubble. There's information that's released in packets, and those packets are designed not to expand consciousness but to limit consciousness. So you can see like a packet of awareness could be seen as like the public education system. It's not a thing there. When you package it up in a language like that, then you can see what it really is. It's a package. It's like, as soon as you came out of the womb and you showed up here, there was a Happy Meal called the public education system sitting in your bedroom until you are 5 years old. And then when you are 5 years old, you can open that up, and then you're supposed to be happy for the next 12, 13 years. So are we questioning that reality? Now a lot of people are, but before there was people taking pride in that reality, and that was the status quo. Whereas today people are starting to question that reality and link it all the way back to the very fabric of our universe through heliocentrism, questioning heliocentrism, and so on and so forth. The thing is, there's a lot of different people and different perspectives based upon different lifestyles. So you have people growing up in different countries who are privy to different parts of information, parts of the story, and some things don't even really matter to their immediate surroundings. Whereas in the United States, you have it's pretty much like the tip of the spear of this juggernaut that's just going across the earth plane and inflicting its bully sort of mentality, inflicting its illusions on the rest of the world, just like colonialism did. It's just what's going on today is just neo-colonialism. Social media, the trending page that you're looking at right now, this is neo-colonialism. And you have to look at this. What did they do when they showed up to Australia and talked to the Aboriginal or the indigenous Australians? What did they tell them when they were there? They installed Christianity. They installed their so-called civilized way of life. And then in that welcoming, that wonderful, oh, this is for your benefit, they completely took over the lands and genocided an entire race of people. The Tasmanian people were completely genocided. So you have this system of killing you with kindness that has been the way of that world. So that's what the neocolonialism is killing you with kindness. So when you understand that, and then you understand the new version of that is the new age community. And what happens there is that when you have this idea of forgiveness and compassion and empathy and love and light and all the other key words that people throw out there, you have this idea that everything else that's bad doesn't exist, or everything else that's, on the negative frequency doesn't exist. And in your like frequency, so you say like, I don't vibrate on that frequency. Those are those people. Like, okay, well, I thought we were all one. What about that? Oh, well, different people are in different parts of their journey, and different people have different kind of karmic debts, and I'm not going to surround myself with people. Okay, I can understand that, but are you going to completely write them off? See, most people will say no, but the community itself as a whole has said, yes, we will write them off because it's up to them to do whatever it is they got to do. That completely takes out the intention of the system that's still alive today that profits off of that death and destruction. So all the profiteering that has come from genocide, slaughter, the mainstream media, the prison industrial complex, the military industrial complex, the new age, by taking that stance, has inherently said that everything that's happening to those people it has nothing to do with anything or anybody else. There is no other intelligence that's working against anything. That is very dangerous, because what it does is it creates this, well, it kills all of the warriors, first off, because all of the warriors just shut down into this fluffy, cloudy, sort of happy-go-lucky, love and light limbo, where it's no different than being clouded by fear and hatred and self-hatred on the other side of the spectrum. So it's kind of like a cloud. There's a cloud before the threshold, and there's a cloud after the threshold of realizing yourself, or whatever people want to call opening up your third eye. So you'll have more paint to paint with. You'll have more words to write with when you have experienced something as extreme as like a psychedelic trip. This is not to say that it's required. I'm just saying that when people are talking about their third eye opening, they're talking about an awareness within this physical reality based upon the non-physical reality. So everything that you are that is more of who and what you are than the physical body could be seen as your third eye awareness. Now, when you put it into words like my third eye is opening and so on and so forth, as if this physical reality, what it does is that alchemy of this physical reality, of this parasitic consciousness, it gives them or it too much credit. If you're saying your third eye is closed, that gives this system too much credit. If you're saying your third eye is open, it actually removes the actual essence of what the third eye is. And that's my point here, because I just wanted to share that and share this alchemy of how this is being conducted, how this is being put out in your atmosphere.